Welcome to the very first episode of Foundations of Tactical Discipleship. Today we're going to talk about stewardship and safe gun handling, not only from a tactical perspective, but also from a biblical perspective. It's a lot of scriptures that help us, guide us to understand the authority that God entrusts us with having certain tools that will preserve or take away life. So let's get into it. So carrying a firearm isn't only about protection. It's also about the wisdom, discipline, and accountability that we have when we operate a firearm. But he that knew not and did not commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes, sorry. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. The things that God gave us dominion over in this world, we have to make sure that we show great stewardship when having these things. A lot of people, we don't get finances right. We don't get the people that we hang around with right. And we wonder why our lives don't move in a way that is closer and going towards God. If we can't get the small things, which is like money, which is influence, like I said, and also operating a firearm, how do you think God will entrust us with the things that are much bigger and much more spiritual, not of just the natural of this world, but the supernatural? So it's very important that when we train with our weapon, that we train for the right reasons, we have the right principles, and we carry ourselves in a way that preserves life instead of trying to take lives. So I'm going to give y'all 4 weapon safety rules that the military taught me, and I'm going to give y'all an extra B at the end because this is something that's also very important. Each weapon safety rule I give you, I'm going to give y'all a scripture, and I'm going to connect both of those. So the first weapon safety rule is treat every weapon as if it was loaded. The scripture that I'm going to read that correlates with it is going to be coming from Proverbs 1 verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. This scripture is basically letting us know, we need to be wise enough to know that we shouldn't be playing around with these tools that God gave us to protect ourselves with. We need to make sure that we treat this weapon as if it was loaded. We need to have all of our fears in God. We need to know that He is the creator, He is the beginning, He is the present, and He's the end. So depending on what we do and how we do it, He will be the ultimate judge. And we need to be in a right mind with the right wisdom in order to operate these things, because if we don't and we walk in a foolish way, the enemy is waiting to cause destruction and cause you to be in a bad place with God. It's very important to have that fear in God, knowing that every action that we do has a reaction and has a consequence also added on to it. And the ultimate consequence will be coming from God, not just the consequences that you'll reap in your lives, but when it comes to time that God judges us. Next gun safety rule is never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. So I'm not going to be waving my gun around and trying to intimidate people, trying to blackmail them or make them do things that I want to because I have a weapon. This weapon is meant to make sure that we are trying to push peace and trying to push um and preserve life, not try to take away life. So the next scripture that correlates with this understanding comes from Matthew 5 and 9, and it says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. I know within the last few years, we've seen a lot of law enforcement officers take the lives of people who didn't show a level of threat and didn't deserve to die or be beat up or bruised up. And it's very important to make sure that we know that what we are training for and what the authority that we are holding it to a standard that pleases God. We shouldn't be out here trying to escalate situations and take away lives. We should be out here trying to de-escalate situations and be aware of the situations that we're in so that we can also protect ourselves and the people around us. As children of God, we have even more of a higher authority and responsibility through stewardship, stewarding the things that God entrusts us with to make sure that we walk in the right way. And all of it is in the Bible. The Bible is full of principles that we can apply to different areas of our lives. So it's very important to make sure that we are peacemakers and we are trying to preserve lives rather than take away lives. The third weapon safety rule is keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire. This goes a little bit with the second one, especially in terms of law enforcement. Sometimes they need to be able to point a weapon at somebody just to take control of the situation. But it's very important that they keep this finger straight and off the trigger until they're ready to fire, because that split second where they may be reaching, or that split second where they may try to come after them, that's where they need to put their finger on that trigger and fire. And that comes with training. That comes with training. So the scripture that correlates with this understanding is going to be read out of James 1 and 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. This scripture is just basically telling us to be sound with our actions, be sound with the way that we take information in, the training that we have, that we're supposed to be doing. And we need to be training in real life scenarios so that when we get in those scenarios, we know exactly what to do. We can't just go to the range, put some lead down range and call it a good range session. Not at all. We have to make sure that we are mentally in that mindset. Like, if I'm in this situation, what would I do? How many bullets would I want to put in this person? How fast can I get these bullets off? How fast can I draw? It's very important to make sure that we are operating in that sense, so that we're not so quick to just pull that trigger, or so quick to beat up on somebody, or so quick to try to intimidate, because like I said, it's about preserving life, not taking lives. So the last weapon safety rule is be sure of your target and what's beyond it. We're going to read out of Ephesians 5 and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectively, not as fools, but as wise. Some people shoot guns for the recreational part of it, and that's completely fine. I'm not constantly in situations where I need to protect myself. For example, like law enforcement, they should be shooting more of in the protecting yourself realm when they go to the range. But for me, I'm very aware of where I'm at, where I'm going. So I don't always shoot in that protecting realm. I also kind of shoot in a recreational, because shooting guns is very therapeutic. It's very fun. But I always also make sure that I balance it out and make sure that I'm in the mindset where, like, okay, if I'm here in this place and somebody comes in, what am I doing? What I do? And not even just at the range. I do it wherever I'm at. If I'm at a restaurant, I'm like, okay, if something pops off, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? That is the mindset that we want to make sure that we are in constantly, constantly, constantly. So that just comes with wisdom, and you know making sure that we apply these principles to our lives every single day. every single day. It all comes down to understanding that discipleship is discipline. Discipline yourself to read the word, one. Discipline yourself to pray and ask for guidance, two. And discipline yourself, especially in the tactical realm and tactical stewardship, to making sure that we are dry firing at home, that we are checking our gear constantly, that we are going to the range and shooting and making sure that we are efficient, and especially prayer, asking for guidance, because man alone cannot do nothing in this world. If you think that you can walk in this world without God, you are completely wrong. And even if you think that you are, you're gonna be waiting for a bad end of the story. We need to examine our attitude and our actions, because when we carry this weapon, we don't want to be carrying with the wrong character. Because if we carry with that wrong character and that wrong mental understanding and capacity, that's when you open the door to the enemy. And that's when fear comes in. That's when confusion comes in. That's when disruption comes in. And that's when the enemy gets to get to play. And like I said, the whole point of it is for him to get us away from God's blessings and God's promises. So any type of way that he can do it, he will do it. And you don't even realize it. This is a tool, a very dangerous tool that preserves or takes away lives. And in the wrong hands, in the wrong character, that's the enemy. But in the right hands and the right character, we will be able to protect what God entrusted us with. Listen, as a person who carries concealed, or you are a protector of your household, or somebody who may be just learning how to carry a gun, or have a gun, make sure you honor your weapon, respect the responsibilities and authorities, and steward them like a servant of Christ. Steward them like the way you steward your faith. Handle your firearm in the way you handle your faith, with certainty, conviction, and care. This your boy Nori on Foundations of Tactical Discipleship. Today's episode was called Stewardship and Safe Gun Handling. If you found this message very helpful, and you know somebody that trains with a purpose, share this with them. Also, like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you on the next episodes that we have. Like I said, carrying a weapon, it's more than just protection. It's about what? Accountability, wisdom, and discipline. So make sure that we understand those aspects and we are walking in the right way. Last thing I'm going to say is, please, please, please respect the show so you can see God's overflow. Word.